God presented himself to me. It was not a feeling. God presented himself to me. And I grew up Catholic. I was baptized, had my communion, confirmed, went to Jesuit school for 7 years, but I was never a believer until now.
Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. It is Tuesday, March 24, 2026. I'm here to speak about the recent I guess we can say healthcare that celebrity blogger Perez Hilton. I think by now a lot of people know who he is. He went through a healthcare and he has been giving an awesome testimony, a wonderful testimony about the Lord. And I'm going to share that with you guys. Before I continue, I want to say thank you, like I just said, everybody who's listening in the podcast. Thank you so much to everybody who's using a Spotify to listen to this podcast. Excuse me. Don't forget to share the podcast. You can also follow the podcast, JulissaDesigns, on Spotify. So every time I make a new episode, you will get a notification. The same thing. Thank you so much to everybody who's using Apple Podcasts to listen. And of course, everybody who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing. So let me just read to you guys, in case somebody out there is listening to this is not sure who Perez Hilton is. His full name is Mario Armando Lavandeira, and he's a prominent, it says here online, prominent American celebrity blogger, columnist, and television personality. I think I learned about him, maybe I can say around 2014, something like that. He had a huge website regarding celebrity news and all of that. I think he still have it. And you know, if something in the celebrity world was happening, you can rest assured on his website it will be the accurate information. He will give you updates about everything, and he's been very relevant throughout the years. Um, Also, he does a lot of TikTok. He's very relevant over there too. Every time there is a trending topic, he's always blogging about it, speaking about it. So he is he just went, like I said earlier, he recently went through a healthcare that got him in the hospital for about 3 weeks. And coming out of that, and thank God he's still recovering, but he was able to get discharged from the hospital. And after that happened, I am so thankful to learn and to share with you guys is that Perez Hilton has been given an amazing testimony about God. And it's like, we're entering Holy Week soon, and Resurrection Sunday is coming up next week. And to hear about somebody who his life basically was based on celebrity gossip and all of that, that was his line of work, and he is using his platform, his influence, to tell people that he had an encounter with the Lord and that Jesus is real. And he's like, I cannot wait to start going to church again and bringing my kids, this is what he said, and bringing my kids to church every Sunday. That to me is amazing. Like I said, Perez Hilton is very famous, and he has a huge following. So for him to share openly, boldly, like that about the power of God and how God healed him and his recovery and his encounter with the Lord, I think that is amazing. And it's just wonderful to see how God can take a person, and transform that person. You can definitely see his transformation. If you're on TikTok, you can follow his account or look on his account, Perez Hilton, and you'll be able to see his full testimony. And I'm sure he also has a YouTube channel. I don't own the video, so I'm not able to share it here, but you can see the transformation in Perez Hilton like that, and to hear him speak, it gives you chills, and it's amazing. But let me tell you exactly why he stayed in the hospital for 3 weeks. It says here that Perez Hilton is letting his fans on the healthcare condition that landed him in the hospital for 21 days. Excuse me. It says here that you click one thing and then immediately brings you to another, like 3 other websites that you're not supposed to be looking at. It says here on Monday, he actually posted this on his YouTube channel. It says here on Monday, March 23rd, the famous gossip blogger revealed that he had begun taking medication for the flu early this year, and he was taking all this medication to heal himself from the flu, but he was doing it on an empty stomach, and that led for him to have internal bleeding, I believe, and then he actually developed sepsis. And I do apologize, I don't know how to pronounce that word specifically, but if you know anything about the medical term and the medical condition when somebody develops sepsis, is that it can be very dangerous for somebody to experience something like that, and it needs immediate attention, and it needs to be controlled immediately. It's an infection in the skin, in the bloodline, I believe also. And if it's not controlled, it can lead to death. And that's what happened to him. Okay, let me continue to read here. Hilton, 47 years old, revealed in a video that after taking the medication for several days on an empty stomach, he developed an ulcer, uh, perforation, and sepsis. After experiencing severe pain, he visited a hospital where he ended up staying for 21 days. This is what he said. The first few days were a lot of pain and constant tests, and because they couldn't find where the perforation was, eventually, after 5 days, I ended up having surgery, and the surgery where he goes into detail. I'm trying to be discreet here. So he had the surgeries after they found the perforation, and he has been in recovery ever since. And he said, my body just kept falling apart, and the doctor had to flip around his organs to find the perforation. Wow, that's very serious. Then he goes into full details exactly what the procedure was. And he says that I hope in this video, the video that he posted about what happened to him, I hope in this video could be a cautionary tale for some of you. Take medication with food, that's very important, and don't have it on an empty stomach. And that's basically what this article is sharing. But he also went on to say, this is the most important thing about what happened with him is how he had an encounter with the Lord. And, he said also that he grew up Catholic, and he remember going to church when he was younger and all of that. But he said he never had an encounter with the Lord. And that is something for us to kind of pause and think about, because there's a lot of things that we do as believers, like we believe in the Lord, but there's a lot of things that we do as a routine just because we're used to it. This is a custom in our family, and there's not a relationship. Oh yeah, we read the Bible, we go to church every Sunday, but there's really not a relationship. And like I said, thanks be to God for second chances, especially if they're going through something so dangerous that like what he went. And he said that this miraculous experience with God. This is what Perez Hilton said. And he had an encounter during his 21 uh, recent hospital stay. He said that I'm trying to find exactly more details about the experience. This is what he said. One of the most special things about this experience is that God presented himself to me. It was not a feeling. God presented himself to me. And he said, I grew up Catholic. I was baptized, had a communion confirmed, went to Jesuit school for 7 years, but I was never a believer until now. Okay, he continued. He said, God presented himself and did something that I could only call miraculously. Explained that he was very lucid during the revelation. He described the encounter as a real life changing, and he said he's so grateful. He also said, I'm excited to start taking his, my kids to church every week, and just know that God is real. And my heart open, I have my heart open before I wanted to believe, and I don't have to hope to believe. I know now. So that is amazing. And like I said, we live in the age of influence, right? Which um just sharing a testimony like this, especially in the time right now, like I mean, it's about to be Restoration Sunday and all of that. For somebody like Perez Hilton, who probably never in his old time doing his celebrity gossip, his blogger, his major website, like I said, his red carpet interviews, probably he has done so many things around celebrity gossip and all of that, celebrity news and trending topics. And for him to basically go through something like this, like a healthcare, and be in a hospital for 21 days and kind of like now coming to say that God is real and that he had an encounter with him. And people can look at his testimony because, like I said, you have to look at what he said in the video. I got chills just by listening to him. I also understand that people would start judging things that he has done in the past, things that he believes in still is still in. You need to understand everything is a process, right? People still, going through this process of sanctification, I guess we can say, and learning more about the Lord. Like he said, he actually grew up learning about the Lord, but he never had an encounter with him. And for him to be bold enough to come out and just be open about it and sharing this in all his platforms, right? That to me is amazing. And that to me is amazing. Like I said, you can look at him and you compare it before and after. It's just the transformation. It's undeniable. Don't get me wrong. I know he has been sick. I know he lost weight and all of that. But there's something about what he looks like now that you can tell that there was a transformation that took place in him. And it's a continuous transformation that we all go through. That's why you can never be so quick to judge somebody, because we're all in this process of getting closer to the Lord. And I think when I heard about his testimony, and because he will sometimes will pop up on my if I go on TikTok, he will pop up if there was a celebrity trending thing going on. He will be sharing, what he thought about it, and to hear him, I'm like, wait, the Perez Hilton talk about God for a second. Let me go back to that and listen to that. That was just amazing. And that's just the power of the Lord. He can change and transform. You have to be willing to listen to the Lord. Everything that He wants is a relationship with you. And I think it's amazing. I'm so happy that he talked about it and he shared his testimony. I'm so happy about that. Let me know, guys, what you think about this. Thank you guys so much for coming to the channel. And thank you so much to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.